And in the top left-hand side of the map, it is the blue Terran player. It is Dolan.
Nice.
Scarlett still doing the ninja outfit, still potentially not in her own place, but that's pure speculation at this point.
Yeah, it wouldn't end up being a huge surprise were that the case. Scarlett just these things always seem to happen. That's all I'm gonna say. So a gas is being taken behind this for Dolan. So it's not like he's just gonna send a bunch of SCVs over and try to completely end it off of Marines and like 700 bunkers. But with 2 barracks, as we know, this is a strategy that gets the blood going. It gets the people excited, cats. There's copy pastas around this build. There's a whole I can't even get into it. We see the proxy barracks come out, and it always turns into this dance, the dance of the drones and the first couple of Marines, and trying to avoid getting eaten by these crab-looking type monsters that the drones are, and they are going to come out of their shell and try to chase down these Marines. First drone does get picked off. So talk to me, but what's the win condition here? What are we looking for? Marine micro seems pretty decent so far. Okay, well.
Yeah, it's okay so far. I mean, the win condition for Dolan is finishing that bunker, getting inside of it. I'm surprised that Scarlett is letting that go for the time being, but with the circling spawning, I guess she feels safe. The SCV not really put back on the bunker right away, so this spine might go up uncontested, and that's a huge deal for Dolan. Trying to play his best impression of Amasa here, and yeah, to your point on memes, Scarlett is at the forefront of hating this strategy, but it seems like she this time around is ready for it for the most part, as the spine is going to finish in range of the bunker, but it won't matter, and Dolan not able to capitalize here. I mean, props to him for knowing his opponent well enough that he thinks, okay, well, this is something that Scarlett has complained about the ratio of how often this strategy wins and so on and so forth, and it's something that she falters to regularly when it comes to players like Masa, for example. Something that she really just outright dies to pretty often, but not this time around. So
not this time.
Yeah.
How would you fix it? You just got to make it so if you want to build out of the barracks, like the food has to get delivered from the command center. There you go. The further away your production is, the slower it goes. Perhaps one day. Perhaps. But 5 drones killed. And no, I mean, the way that it kind of messes with your build in terms of like, he has to build a command center inside of his main. Obviously, you always want to have the factory with the reactor early against Zerg, Hellions, map control, creep denial, YOLO dives, and the starport pretty quickly after. How are we feeling about this? Was this enough damage for Dolan against Scarlett, or you think nah?
I mean, if you remove the names, I think that this game is pretty playable. It's about comfort zones. I'm not sure that Dolan is very adept at this build, but I mean, his transition has been good, right? Like, he hasn't really messed up. He hasn't really gotten supply blocked terribly or anything like that. In the meanwhile, like, good presence of mind from him to actually bring this barracks over to clear the Overlord there on the high ground. Scarlett doesn't even know what's going on outside of her own base, so she might be surprised to find out that Dolan has done a very good job of transition. This was only 2 barracks commitment, so it wasn't the biggest commitment possible. Dolan is gonna float the orbital command over to his natural before morphing it. With 18 workers mining in the main, I'm not sure that that's the best call ever, but minimal stuff.
Just trying to get situated, I suppose. And hey, Scarlett at the very least does still have that spine crawler, so I guess if it's a playable position, then it's nice that she has a little bit to cover the front, because this Hellion drop will definitely pose a big threat if all of them are able to unload outside the vision of Scarlett, which, by the way, her overlords are very well spread out. She has great vision. She definitely sees this coming in. Yeah. It could be devastating, but I think she's ready. She's already getting her queens up the ramp. There is not creep connecting the bases, though.
Yeah, queens are really slow. The medivac, don't go into force. No!
Metal Gear Solid game over sound .mp3. Right there on that one. Yeah, that's brutal.
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
At first I'm like, oh yeah, the queen should be able to get there. She has vision. And then you're like, well, there's no creep tumor connecting the bases. The queens are slow. And I'm like, oh my goodness, but that could not actually have gone worse for Dolan. So there are plenty of Marines to defend since, 2 barracks opening and the transition into stim, etc. It's going to be a bio game out of him, but
That's rough. I mean, yeah, that's
what are the
that's not
queens
the way you
doing
want to
though?
start for sure. For sure, not the way you want to start. We were wondering what her position was before. This is not it. I mean, it's a blunder, maybe only eclipsed by his oversteam yesterday, right? And that's got to be nerves playing into this. Again, Dolan at top 10 North American player on the Grandmaster ladder at least. An uprising star, a kid that has been playing since he was like 12 years old or something. He was actually one of the first players on the Root Academy seed, now defunct. And he's definitely come a long way, and I'd love to see him do well, but so far on the big stage, nerves perhaps getting the best of him.
Yeah, and it could end up turning into one of those awesome storylines that we've had. You know, it was only a year or two ago where we had players like MaxFax that were in Dolan's position coming in, taking it to these titans of their regions. It does love that stim button though. One of the medevacs are going to get picked off, but got a lot of the creep tumors. Did a decent bit of damage. But I think that like you said, the nerves might be something that comes into it, and hopefully down the line as we see more of Dolan's play, if he continues to qualify and make his way through, then hey, could end up being that next story that we'll be looking at next year with all of this. I think that so far he's definitely had a couple of rough go of it, but this is invaluable experience.
Yeah. So we'll see the tank. I mean, it feels bad when we're talking about a game, talking about it being invaluable experience. It kind of tells us where the game is kind of headed, right, in a certain way, and it can't be too good for Dolan. That said, I mean, this position with the tanks pretty annoying. Scarlett going for roaches, perhaps not ideal given the tanks already out, and Scarlett is looking for a strong position. She will come from the north, but that nets the volleys, or the tanks a strong couple of volleys. Scarlett not coming in with enough Ravagers to take the tank outright, so we'll have to rely on a couple of extra shots. This medevac very, very low. Dolan will look to evacuate here shortly. And that was a nice poke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's trying to bring that pressure right. And if there's one thing that we can definitely say went well, the creep spread. Made sure to scan and keep as much of that away as possible. But the other avenues are still spreading past the halfway point on the map. As far as Scarlett's strategy goes, Cat's 1-1 for missile, roach speed. We expecting just a big roach ravager, like just try to smash into him after maybe defending the next attack. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I wouldn't mind for Scarlett to sit back. I think roaches are really good on this map as well. It's a very short rush distance map. Scarlett is one of the most consistent Cirque players when it comes to strategies, strategy choices per map. I have always loved that about her. It makes her a little bit predictable in a certain sense, but only in the best ways, because she's going to be looking to exploit features of the map. She's going to be looking to be consistent. She's going to be looking to be logical as much as she possibly can, given any situation. So I love the roach choice. I don't think she has to push on the gas pedal with a 1-1, but it looks like at least she's going to poke and see if she can. Two tanks might deter, but there's not much bio to stand in front of them, and one of them will fall right away to the corrosive biles. The second one also to follow, and it's looking like Scarlett might just have enough as Dolan has to go up this ramp, up a tiny choke into corrosive biles with the SCVs now trying to help. But it's looking all Scarlett. It's looking like the Canadian Zerg will finish this game off in style.
Yeah, bit of a brutal timing there as Scarlett picks up game number 1. She had the 1-1 on the Roach Ravager. You know, Roaches and Ravagers have 1 armor by default. So you have that 2 armor. The Marines +1 was almost done for Dolan, but it wasn't. So a huge amount of tankiness out of that Roach Ravager army, and it's going to be really hard to take those down if your siege tanks get hit by the biles. So tough go of it to start things off for Dolan.
Yeah, for sure. And that was not Scarlett going all in on it or anything like that, right? She had 2 on the way. She had more tech on the way. She was situated well economically. So even if that attack completely fails, she still had a lot to fall back on. And that is due to, I mean, maybe 2 crucial, maybe not mistakes, but points in the game where things didn't go so well from Dolan. I mean, yeah, the medevac has to be called a mistake. I think there's no way around that one. But the 2 racks, I mean, it kind of was a rough position to start for the American Terran. And yeah, better luck perhaps in this next map.
Yeah, he's trying to put himself right in a position where he can like make something happen with the micro, with the control, get into a rhythm. So I don't blame you for that, especially as the underdog. I'm always going to be, you know, totally on board with the aggressive strategies.
Yeah.
Blackburn, not a bad map for some for potentially maybe we'll get a little something else out of Dolan. Not a bad map for turtling, not a bad map for air units. So I think that definitely opens up the playbook a little bit. And well, if he does similar type of strategy, then Scarlett will probably just drown him in Roach Ravager bile again. So
yeah, it is the type of map that lends itself to that style as well, to Roach Ravager. So we'll see if Scarlett continues on with that trend. It's a style that is very difficult to die with, and a style that is, you know, like you hit your timings if you're. It's kind of like a lot of it is out of your control. It feels like with Roach Ravager, obviously the bios are going to be important to hit, but it's not the most skillful style. Let's call it, right. It's not the style where you need to control and out micro and out position so much as you just need to hit a sharp timing, execute it, and if your opponent's not good enough to hold it, they'll just often die. And this can happen up until the highest levels of play. We've seen Rogue completely abuse this type of strategy whenever he feels like it's potent, given a meta game, given a map. So Scarlett also not shy from doing that. And yeah, this is the person that we're talking about. In the bottom right hand side of the map, the Queen of Blades, the absolute goat of Canadian StarCraft, it is Scarlett.
And her opponent in the Southwest, spawning as the blue Terran player, the American Terran, he is Dolan.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot to be in, right? I mean,
so, yeah.
the probably, I don't know if you agree with this, but based on everything that's happened in our incredibly long couple of days we've had, the upset meter has been going off. We've been seeing some weird stuff that does not normally happen. And call it the weather, call it act of God, but we've had things just getting funky. But Scarlett has not been one of those players experiencing that toughness. His second barracks inside the main base. Cats, talk to me. What are you? I mean, I'm the Terran player, so maybe I'm supposed to have an idea about this. But three racks.
It feels like
Reaper.
Me, yeah.
I guess it's just Reapers. Just hoping that she just won't expect it. Like the Overlord will go to the front, see this barracks and the depot, and she'll think to herself, oh, okay, he's going to do a Reaper expand, and maybe he'll do something dumb.
Oh, no,
after that.
no.
Just give it away,
Forgive him. Forgive him.
No. She's going in for the follow-up scat.
No.
Man. Well, there'll be no Frodo. Keep your secrets. No keeping of secrets here, cats. It all will be revealed under the eyes of the all-seeing Overlord, and, well, I have absolutely no freaking idea what the fallback is if Scarlett sees this coming this early. Yeah, there's the spine crawler. Yeah. Like what does she need a spine for the natural, or what do you think? Like what do you do to just completely dump all over this and keep moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the spine at the main is a really good start, I feel like, because obviously, given the position of the barracks, we know where the Reapers are going to be exiting and entering through those red zones, out and in to, out of Dolan's base and into Scarlett's main through the red zones. That is the shortest path. So I love the spine. It's going to cover a lot of surface area. I wouldn't mind the spine at the natural, but that's going to be secondary for sure, because the point of entry is the one that you want to defend the hardest. And then anything that goes towards the natural is kind of an overextension on the side of Dolan, where you're kind of risking getting surrounded or just more units being there and making your escape a little bit more difficult. So the spine will actually be relocated as Scarlett feels confident in her ability to just keep this area safe with the queens. And yeah, indeed, she will push out Dolan. One of those queens getting dangerously low, but one Reaper has already fallen.
And that's, of course, when we talk about Reaper builds, it really is about landing a big punch and then another and another. It's like hitting that speed bag and just not slowing down. But any time that you lose one of those Reapers early on, it hurts so much.
Yeah. What a beautiful play here from Scarlett, right? Like, she knows that she's gonna reclaim, that she's soon to reclaim that area, and as soon as she identifies there's no way, like I'm gonna in the next few seconds reclaim that area, she already starts moving her spine towards the low ground to defend. Oh no, Dolan, no! Okay, not a full surround here. Dolan will pay attention, and the last possible second that would that he would be allowed to in order to attempt at saving these Reapers, and they will be saved. Scarlett will bleed some units. This Marine, he was sent on a mission that he just... I mean, the poor guy.
Oh, the Reaper gets booped into the Queen's hungry and waiting mouths.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
Yeah. But again, like those little details from Scarlett, just repositioning the spine before she even knows that or when she knows that she's going to reclaim that position, and just leaving the links there to prevent the next Reaper jump is just... She is just such a high class and caliber of player, and a lot of that is just, her excellent decision making. Can't praise it enough.
What's fascinating is that the production is still primarily focused on Reapers. Is he adding extra barracks? Yes. Is he getting +1? Yes. But now I'm getting rough vibes from this, which is a throwback I don't actually think I've been able to make for probably 2 or 3 years at this point, where it's going to be a lot of +1 Reapers, which actually can obliterate Zerglings early on, and eventually you can start to really rock the Queens too. Those spines are going to become a little bit more important. It's basically like a gotcha type of strategy, though. It's not something that I think works super well if the other player has the awareness, which, by the way, Scarlett has the awareness. So
yeah, not since they nerfed them back in 2011 or something like that, right? I mean, you could have said like Moro, maybe like Moro. We went to rough. I think that's okay. That's fair. I think that.
When the grenades, when they had the 5-second cooldown, right? Yeah. It was. I think
Beyond. Maybe.
I think Beyond was literally the only person still winning games with Mass Reaper.
Beyond or rough.
And they're like, we already nerfed the crap out of this. It's just one guy still doing it in the GSL. And they're like, guess we got to get rid of their grenades.
Yeah.
Well, they used to do like 10 damage on a 5-second cooldown. It was pretty fascinating that Bjorn was one of the only guys that actually still did that relatively often and won with it. But it's very scary, right? If you overcommit against something like this, if your Lings get caught, the Reapers will kill them very quickly.
We might see this here, yeah. Especially with Lings, and especially because as much as I was just praising Scarlett's decision making, I mean, it looks like she wants to rush towards Muta, but Link Bane is usually one of the unit compositions that, like well enough spread minds can definitely torture to an end, and it can be a faulty unit composition in dealing with this. Whereas Roaches, Ravagers, much more straightforward. I'm gonna attack into your Reapers, and it's gonna be very difficult for you to do anything about it type thing. So I'm a little bit surprised that she isn't going for the more straightforward approach, and instead is looking for one of those huge surrounds with the links to rely upon. But I think that this gives Dolan some chance.
He's going up to 8 racks, ladies and gentlemen. No add-ons. We are we're now I can say we're definitely back in NA StarCraft. Queens are getting booped. Trying to kick off a little bit, but grenades, the transfuses have been on point. And of course, those Banelings, well, Reapers are still light units. So if the Baneling gets close, it's going to be disastrous. Trying to kite back, but... Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. GG.